So using Google Forms in Google Classroom is pretty easy, and you can use Google Forms that you've already made in your classroom. Here, we'll make a new one as an example. So I'm in my Google Drive. I'm going to hit New, More, and choose Google Forms. Let's say we're making a survey for our students. So we'll call it creatively Student Survey. Let's put that in there too. You can put a description of it. Whatever questions we want. So how are you feeling about the class? We'll give them options. Great, middling, and terrible. This is a multiple choice question. We'll say this is the only question on our survey. So what we want to do now is actually add it to our Google Classroom. So we've just made the survey. Don't actually need to do anything else here. You can also just use one that you've already made, as I said. So now in my Drive, there's my survey. What I'm going to do to add this to my Google Classroom is pick Create. And I'm going to create a quiz assignment is designed specifically to go with Google Forms. It's mostly actually for graded Google Forms, but it's also useful for surveys and stuff. So I'm going to pick Create Quiz Assignment. We'll call this Student Survey. Quiz assignments come with this blank Google form on it. So actually, if you were making a new form, you would do it by clicking on this and just creating the form that way. But say I already had this survey. I'd made it, I don't know, for a previous year or something. I want to attach that one. So I'm actually just going to get rid of this blank one and add the one I just made. So hit Add. It's in my Google Drive, so I'll pick that. I'll go to my Drive because I want sort of like the home page of my Drive. There's my survey. Pick that and click Insert. Now, my students will get this survey and each student will be able to fill it out. Since it's just a survey, I'm actually going to say that it's ungraded. So it's an assignment, but it's an assignment that's not associated with points or anything. You could give it points like for completion or whatever you wanted to do right here. And let's put it in the topic that I want it to be in. And for my students to get it, all I have to do is hit Assign. Now, in that topic, here's a survey, and students will fill this out. So now I've gone as a pretend student in my class and completed the survey. So you can see that now it shows that one student has turned in the survey. And to see the responses, I'm going to open up the Google form by clicking on it. Weirdly, it opens the survey as if I could fill it out and submit it myself. What I want to do is see the responses. So I'm going to hit the editing pencil, go up to responses. There are different ways to see the responses here that I cover in other videos. My favorite is always to create a spreadsheet of the responses and view them all at once. And so on this spreadsheet, I'll be able to see a line for each student who submits it, telling me when they submitted it, their email address. I set this up in the settings. Again, that's in another video. And their responses to each question of the survey. Each question will have its own column. And if I've set it up so that students can submit multiple times, then each student will just have multiple rows, and I can actually sort the sheet by the column email address to get all of one student's responses together.